following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA network, and welcome to my review show here of IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 13 from October 21st, 2023, from 5300 Hickendale Road in Mackenzie, Tennessee. Interesting show here. I've got a lot to say about it. For those who are maybe checking this out for the first time, I've been hanging for a bit of Carnage Cup for some time now. I do reviews of a lot of these deathmatch tournaments, so I'm going to compare this to Tournament of Death 20, XPW Karlifornia 2 from this year, and GCW Tournament of Survival from earlier in the year. But we'll get there when we get there. So here we go, the review. Very excited for this show. Great to hear Chris Kloss back on commentary. And I was excited to see him and Larry Legend working together on this show. Larry opened the proceedings as expected, as is tradition. Spider Boudreaux gets a 10-bell salute before the proceedings begin. You know, he unfortunately passed away some time ago. A man that was, a Deep South mainstay, a legend of IWA Deep South, winner of Carnage Cup 8 as well for those playing at home. So I thought interesting to start things off here when I took one look at the venue. We're outdoors. All the people that are there to watch the show, all their chairs are in the shade. There's no crowd in the background of where the ring is, but honestly, it was an interesting way of seeing a wrestling show laid out. They had a 6-sided ring as well, which I found interesting. I did not expect that. And I was a little surprised at the turnout. I thought there would be more people there, but maybe there were a lot of people there, but they were just so spread out. It was kind of hard to, I don't know, figure out what the attendance was like. Plus, as Larry Legend was saying, that they're in the middle of nowhere, apparently. I thought there might be an entranceway as well, but there was no entranceway. This is IWA Deep South, baby. Come on, who cares? It's all right. You got to take things on their own merits, okay? This is a deathmatch tournament in Mackenzie, Tennessee, in essentially like the woods, it looks like there anyway, or a farm or something of that nature. So it's not going to be huge production values, is it? Okay, let's get underway here. The first match here in the first round, a 3-way here in a Saw Forever death match. Little Sicko takes on Brian White and the Angel of Death, John Rare. So I've never seen Little Sicko or Brian White before. I have seen John Rare, and I've also interviewed John on the Insider's Edge podcast on this YouTube channel. Please check it out. He's a great guy. From what I gather from talking to John and talking to Kevin in the past is that this is John's final tournament. This could very well be John's final time at the Carnage Cup. Again, great to see Chris and Larry working together on this show, and cool that Chris is doing something that is somewhat connected to XPW, as IWA Deep South is being hosted on this platform, streamxpw.com. Let's get on with talking about the match. Rare brings out the tubes first. Little Sicko went through some skewers. These skewers were long skewers, bro. Long skewers. And he got, that's just fucked up. John Rare threw them on White after Sicko bumped on them. Rare dominated early till Sicko started bludgeoning him. Excuse me. I laughed so hard at Larry telling Kloss that there was fire because they had set some rags on the barbed wire ropes on fire, and as soon as he told him and Chris Kloss just start screaming. They just start screaming. This is going to be a constant thing throughout this show that I'm going to be commenting on between these two. The way that they started screaming together, like I had tears in my eyes. Okay, And another thing I need to let you know, which I was supposed to say at the beginning, I was watching this show 30,000 feet in the air on a plane flying from the other side of Australia over to Perth, as it was the final day of my holiday. And I spent my whole flight watching the Carnage Cup. So remember, when I'm talking about me bursting into laughter here, I'm in a plane full of people. Right. So yeah, literal rags on the barbed wire, ropes on fire. John Rare appeared to have cut his hand open very early in the proceedings and was taping it up on the outside. Sicko, got to give him some credit here. His screaming when he was in pain was fantastic. Great selling, although maybe he wasn't selling, maybe he was actually screaming. But this, and that was specifically when he was getting stabbed in the head. Sentences that I say when I review a deathmatch tournament are sentences that I never say any other time. It's great stuff. Rare chimed in as Sicko had a thumbtack pool noodle. Come on. That's a sentence that's never been said before. Rare chimed in as Sicko had a thumbtack pool noodle on white. Like, if I said that to anyone who has no idea about wrestling, has no idea who I'm talking about, excuse me, they would think that I'm mental. Rare chimed in as Sicko had a thumbtack pool noodle on white. What the hell am I going on about? They would think. Anyway. Okay. John Rare, right? He sets White up. And he lights firecrackers off on what appeared to be this table of absolute insanity. That everything was on this table. I don't know what it was, but he lit these firecrackers off. The way he jumped off the ring apron onto White, who moved out the way, the way John just fell into the table, like knees first, which led to the firecrackers going off with him amongst this mess of carnage, literal carnage. I burst into laughter. And then Chris Kloss and Larry Legend screaming whilst this was going on made me cry from laughter. When I say I'm laughing, I'm not laughing because I think it's stupid or I'm laughing at John. I'm laughing because it is so entertaining to me. What I just witnessed was just mental. Soon after that, Sicko got a suplex onto a chair with actual saw blades on them. You boys, swear to God. Ray got a deep cut on his arm. He strapped it up. He's just falling apart, mate. He's falling apart. Larry Legend again making me laugh. A goddamn motherfucking pile driver on a trampoline of barbed wire. The way he says goddamn motherfucking pile driver on a trampoline of barbed wire. Great stuff, Larry. Great stuff. Rare set up more firecrackers in the ring because he didn't learn his lesson the first time. Sets him on fire. There's this massive explosion, and then he goes to grab Brian White. It's Brian White, isn't it? Shit, I got to make sure I get his name right. Yeah. He goes to grab him, and Brian White he just grabs John Rare, throws him into the pile of explosion taking place. And it was great because the camera view, John just disappeared into this sea of firecracker going off, and you couldn't see him. He was gone. To me, that was such a great visual. It was a little shame afterward that you actually saw the view from behind and how John kind of was all right for most of it. But when he got chucked into it, he just disappeared, and it was like you were never going to see John Rare again. But then Brian White picked up the pinfall on John. So Brian and Little Sicko advanced. So if you get pinned, you're out. If you get the pin, you go through. If you're not involved in the pin whatsoever, but you don't get pinned, you go through. And you go through the next round. Anywho. Laughed at Chris Kloss sitting at the desk with a bunch of cars parked behind him. This is the layout. This is the scene. This is great. The second match of the first round, a Spiral 2 death match. It features Obey taking on Hardcore Hillbilly, right? It changes as the match goes on. Larry Legend in the ring. Let's get on to our next fucking fight. Chris Kloss, watch your fucking mouth. It's subtle humor like that that gets me, okay? Watch your fucking mouth. Like, damn it, Chris. Hardcore Hillbilly comes out, he's repping an XPW shirt. I don't know what it was, but when I see, because I didn't know what the card was going into this, I just knew that Necro Butcher was going to be on this show. I don't know why, but I just started laughing when I saw Hardcore Hillbilly coming out, because I'm like, look at the situation he's got himself into now. He always seems to get himself into a sticky situation in XPW as he flanks Necro Butcher and the Mega Maga group. He always gets himself into strife there. Now somehow Hardcore Hillbilly's got himself booked in Carnage Cup 13. It's great stuff, bro. I don't know what it is about Hardcore Hillbilly. He entertains me. Okay, so this was the match. This was the match where I burst into laughter whilst on the airplane really loudly, and I couldn't help it. I had to keep rewinding. And I'm sorry to the guys who are in the match, Obey and Hardcore Hillbilly, but there's a lot of stuff here I'm going to be talking about as it pertains to Larry Legend and Chris Kloss, because they really stole this one for me. Okay, so the first thing, I don't know why this was so funny to me. I'm just imagining Larry Legend with his little hat on and his overalls, sitting there at the commentary table with Chris Kloss. And he yells, well, he doesn't yell, but he's saying, there's so many damn yellow jackets out here assaulting us while we're trying to do commentary. Like I'm guessing a yellow jacket's kind of like a wasp or something of that nature. And to me, that was just so funny that they're getting assaulted by these insects whilst they're trying to do commentary. And yes, I burst into laughter really loudly at this, and I was tens of thousands of feet in the air. Great stuff. More brilliance from Larry Legend. So Hardcore Hillbilly, he hits a gusset plate across the bare back of Obey, who I'm seeing wrestle for the first time here. Larry Legend said, he's hardcore, he'll bareback a bitch right. Come on. He's hardcore, he'll bareback a bitch right out here in the middle of Bumblefuck. I replayed that like 10 times because I was trying to transcribe what he said. It's ridiculous. He's hardcore, he'll bareback a bitch right out here in the middle of Bumblefuck. Great stuff, dude. I love it. Again, he's wrapped like they Obey had Hillbilly in the barbed wire ropes, and yeah, Larry Legend, he's wrapping him up in the barbed wire like a goddamned motherfucking animal. There's no way I'm going to be able to monetize this review. I'm swearing too much. So Hillbilly gets all fucked up by firecrackers here. He's tied up in the ropes, and the ropes have all firecrackers all along, all behind his back. Obey lights up the firecrackers, and honestly, good on you, Hillbilly, for copying that crazy shit and staying on the firecrackers for a prolonged period of time. Good stuff. Hillbilly put some tubes on Obey and hit a senton on him, which was good because you know what? A lot of the time people will try and do something like that and the tubes won't break because they won't hit it properly. So well done, bro, on hitting them and making them smash. Obey kicked out. Here was something that confused me though. Maybe he was late to the show. I don't know. I'll find out when I interview Kevin Brannon next week. Blaine Evans enters the match at a later point, which doesn't seem fair at all. At least, well, Hillbilly just went through hell with these firecrackers. They've been destroying each other with tubes, and Blaine Evans gets to enter the match later on. Blaine and Obey seem to have some sort of miscommunication. I don't know what was going on there. Obey did hit a Samoan drop. To me, I kept thinking, I would have just had Hillbilly win with the senton and move forward, but he wasn't progressing in the tournament, so what the fuck do I know? Russian leg sweep onto barbed wire by Hillbilly on Obey. Hillbilly then got suplexed. Was it double suplexed? Onto a into a kiddie pool which had tacks in it, I believe. And then both Obey and Blaine Evans win with a double pin, and they advance in the tournament. Here comes a confusing part of the show, which I'm sure Kevin will be able to enlighten me when I talk to him next week. There's a 20-minute intermission, right? So it goes to a screen with 20 minutes countdown. Luckily, I watched this after the fact so I could fast forward. I watched it get to 0, and then it went back up to 5 minutes remaining. 4:59, 4:58, 4:57. Okay, fast forward. It happened 3 more times, and I'm like, oh, like it kept on popping back up to 5 minutes remaining. Like, oh, something's gone wrong. They're trying to set up the next match. Something's gone wrong here. Because I'd heard that they were going to put the ropes on the ring, so I'm like, oh, something's happened. We come back. The first and second rope are on the ring. And the bottom rope is not, but I believe that was by design because it's easy to get the weapons in the ring. And it's not like they need the bottom rope, really. So here we go. This was really interesting because this is on the pay-per-view. Larry Legend filled some time by talking to the fans. He made fun of the referee who was a little lazy with his counts of the previous match. For no reason, this whole part made me think, I wish I was there. I wish I had my chair next to the Tennessee folk, the IWA Deep South faithful. I wish I had a chair next to them all with a cooler of beers. A case of beers in a cooler with ice. Ice, baby, too cold. And cigarettes and kick back and enjoy the show. I wish. That would have been so much fun. So Larry started getting a little bit pissed off because I guess the guy behind the camera was telling him to do this and do that. And Larry's microphone wasn't even really working. I guess the sound guy was fixing something up with it. I could tell Larry was getting a little bit pissed off. I don't know if he was actually getting mad, or if this was, I'm sure it was real. Because if it were me and someone was prodding at me, telling me to do this and do that, and no one could hear me on the microphone, and the people didn't even want to talk to me, I'd start to get agitated too. Because I remember once I was the MC for a wedding reception of my friend, and the best man, he wouldn't stop coming up to me and giving me his notes on how to do things. And Carl, what you're supposed to do is when they're walking, you go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the room, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. I'm like, I know what I'm doing, bro. Stop telling me what to do. It's a different situation, but I hate when people are giving me their notes on how to do things, and poking and prodding. I know what I'm doing. I'm sure Larry knew what he was doing, but he was getting a little bit mad about the microphone. And then I think he said something like, I'm out of here, bro. And I heard the cameraman say, shit fuckery, which made me laugh. Anyway, something was not going right here. Another 3-minute intermission 3 times in a row. They come back. We got a smiling Larry Legend back there with an interview with Hardcore Hillbilly. Unfortunately, Hillbilly was a little quiet, so I couldn't even hear what he was saying until they were talking about XPW Halloween in Hell 4, which is coming up this weekend, I believe. So just for future reference, Hillbilly, you never know if people can't hear you through a feed because of the microphone situation. So get as close to that microphone as possible and talk as loud as you can. Well, not as loud as you can, but you know what I mean. It was the first time I was ever going to hear him talk, so I wanted to hear what he had to say. Larry does his best to fill time as they set up the next match. I did laugh at this stage when Chris Kloss called it a 6-sided octagon. They figure it out later. High impact match here for match number 3. I'm only up to match 3 and I'm 20 minutes deep in this thing. It's a ladders, razor boards, and log cabins match. Log cabin light tubes match. Carnage Cup 12 winner, Chuey Martinez. Sick Boy, not to be confused with Scotty Anton. Is it Anton? Is it Scotty Anton? I have to know. Sick Boy WCW. It's Scotty Anton, isn't it? Oh, Scott Vick. Scotty Anton is Scotty Riggs. Scott Vick. So not to be confused with Scott Vick from WCW and Ravens Flock. This is a different Sick Boy. I believe he is Latino. And Jay Blade. So here we go. I've seen Chuey perform before, but not the other two guys. I thought Jay did a good job to spring off the loosish looking ropes at one stage there. Chuey launched a bunch of tubes at Jay, which was a great effect. This was a three-way slugfest at one stage. They're all just punching each other in the head. Jay Blade got suplexed onto a ladder, which looked rough. This was a fun mess. This match was a fun mess. I didn't write many notes on it because I think maybe at this stage I was getting served drinks on the plane and I wasn't typing as much. But anyway, that's a very uninteresting anecdote. Death Valley driver off the ring apron by Sick Boy on Blade through a barbed wire table. And then Sick Boy didn't go for a pin. I'm like, why wouldn't you go for a pin? Chuey set up two chairs with all these tubes on top and set up Jay for a doomsday device. And Sick Boy climbed to the top rope and he got, Jay Blade got destroyed with the doomsday through the tubes. And Jay Blade is eliminated, and we move forward in the tournament with Chuey and Sick Boy. Eventually, Larry Legend figures out that it's a hexagon, not an octagon. Very funny. And one thing that was very well pointed out by Larry Legend was someone was using a leaf blower to get the glass out the ring. CZW. XPW, GCW, ICW, no holds barred, whatever other ones there are, use a leaf blower to get the glass out the ring, bro. That got things done so quickly. Brilliant. Got these people with fucking brooms and shit. No, get the leaf blower. Fantastic. Who ever thought of that? Up there for thinking, mate. Well done. Match 4 of round 1. IWA Deep South Funhouse match. Necro Butcher, the Suicidal Beast, Bryant Woods, and Jimmy Controversy. Okay, I can't wait to talk about this one. I'm going to have some iced tea. Hang on. Okay. Oh, I love this one. Firstly, I'm digging Necro's long hair. I think it looks cool. He won the second Carnage Cup, by the way, in 2006. Bryant and Necro brawl to begin with. Here comes Jimmy Controversy. First of all, the name is popping me because I'm wondering what is so controversial about it. I love that it's a mystery. I want to never know. I don't want to ever know why he's called Jimmy Controversy. And you know what? I hope he never causes any controversy. So then it makes even more of a mystery why he's called Jimmy Controversy. I hope to God that I never find out what his name's meaning is. Okay, Jimmy joins the fray, right? Out of nowhere. Each time he gets involved, he just gets like swatted away like a fly, like a nuisance. Every time he gets involved, Necro just fucks him up quickly, right? And I'll explain some of these things that happened as the match wore on. Bryant nailed a solid back body drop on Butcher. A high back body drop. Then Controversy runs at them again, and he just gets thrown out the ring a third time. And now it's comical. They're on the outside. Jimmy, again, runs up to Butcher, clubs him in the back weakly, and he just cops a backhand to the face, and he goes down. Oh, bro, this stuff I loved it. The fifth time he runs at Necro, he gets fucked up again. The sixth time Jimmy Controversy runs at them, he gets suplexed by Bryant Woods onto hard lawn, which is... I did backyard wrestling for many years, and I know what it's like taking a bump on hard lawn. Oh, God. Here we go. Jimmy goes after Necro. This is all about Jimmy Controversy here. He hits him several times, but then he just gets headbutted. Oh, God. This should just be his gimmick. This should just be his gimmick. He's trying to wrestle. He's trying to win matches. And people just like, go away. Who even booked you? I love it. Excuse me, I just had to cough. So I thought to myself at this stage, Bryant Woods should win the tournament, I reckon. He's got good size to him. He looks like he's, you know, he's a bit of a veteran of this style of wrestling. He hadn't won it before. So at that point, he was my pick. Again, Necro is thrown into the side of a U-Haul truck. Jimmy attacks Bryant. To no avail, Jimmy just gets thrown at Necro. This is what was funny to me, bro. He's trying so hard to do something. Bryant just grabs him, throws him at Necro, and you can just hear Jimmy screaming in pain. This poor guy. Honestly, this is popping me so much. But yeah, it's like a fly that keeps landing on you. And then Necro lawn darts Jimmy Controversy into the side of the U-Haul. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can't believe how many juggalos are a part of this scene. I thought juggalos were like kind of like homie G's. that was really white of me then. But I thought they were kind of homie G's. I didn't realize juggalos were like people from Tennessee, you know, country folk. It's crazy. I didn't realize like how broad it was to be a juggalo. And by the way, I am a juggalo. Bryant gets hit with a can by Jimmy. Then Necro does it. Jimmy then did it a second time, and he just got blasted by Woods. Another thing, bro, this Jimmy Controversy might have stole the show for me here. He went to hit a chop block on Bryant Woods. And when he hit the chop block, he was right underneath him. So when Woods took the bump, he landed right on Controversy's head. I wish Jimmy sold that and didn't get up. I wish he sold it because it would have made him look even more pathetic. Then he tries to choke Bryant. Then Jimmy gets thrown. Jimmy does this. Jimmy does that. Jimmy gets thrown onto the merch table. And that, I don't know. It looked like the merch lady looked a little bit mad, a little bit mad, insane mad that the table was messed up, but maybe I was just reading into it wrong. Jimmy chokes Necro with his tie. This is like one of those like children's novels. Jimmy does this. Jimmy does that. Kevin Brannon. I see him just handing out a tube to Bryant, who says no. Jimmy gets hit with a tube whilst he's trying to choke Necro. Bryant then drags Necro near the ring. Jimmy hits Brian with a tube. Brian is this was the best finish ever. Jimmy hits him with a tube, and it's like Bryant was like, you know what? I fucking had it with this cunt. Jimmy goes for a clothesline, and Bryant ducks it, and he just grabs him with like it looked like a burning hammer, but he just ended up power bombing him through a double stack of tubes and wire and just fucking dangerous shit. Come on, bro. This is amazing shit. This is entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Controversy gets pinned by Bryant Woods. That was the best match so far. Huge shout out to Jimmy Controversy. I don't know if all of that stuff was by design, but bro, that was some of the most entertaining shit that I've ever seen in my 25 plus years of being a wrestling fan. Fuck me. Okay, so that means Necro and Bryant move forward to the semifinals. We had 4 3-ways to start the show, right? So now, from those 4 matches, 2 people, each match went through to the semifinals, which means we have 4 semifinal singles matches. And then the winner of those 4 matches, they all go to the finals for a 4-way. Way more interesting of a tournament than just having singles matches. I have to be honest. Very cool. Anywho, let's find where I was. Semifinals number 1, Panes of Glass and Boards of Carnage match. Little Sicko takes on Obey. One note for Obey, you need a song with a shorter intro, bro. Okay. I'm sure it's all a part of your character, but it took a little bit too long. for you to come out. Excuse me, I need some water. Oh, that's some good shit. Right. Some actual chain wrestling begins this one. Sicko, to be honest with you, he stood out to me thus far, just like Bryant Woods did. And we'll get to it when we get to it. Sicko goes to suplex Obey through a glass pane, but it's reversed, and he cops it first. Very nice. See, they took their time. They teased the spot before getting to it, instead of just, blowing their load straight away. I thought Sicko should advance. There was a moonsault by Sicko, and Obey kicked out. I didn't write many notes because I was actually enjoying this. It had been very good. And it even made me think to myself, you know what? I kind of want to enter Carnage Cup 14. I haven't wrestled since 2017, but fuck, who knows? It's just, you know what? It looks like fun. That's what it is. This really came across like a fight. Sicko dove over the top rope onto Obey, and I guess it didn't really work out. They got caught in, fuck, man, it's razor wire. It's not even barbed wire, it's razor wire. You know how dangerous that shit is? And the glass table did not break on that bump. It's a shame because you could tell what they were going for there. I don't know what they needed to do in order for that to work out better. Maybe Obey needed like hop up a little bit and jump as he was catching Sicko, so they at least had some trajectory to fall down from. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist, mate. So anyway, Sicko got backdropped onto the grass. He set up a pane of glass and two chairs, and they brawled on the ring apron. This was probably one of the spots of the show here. Little Sicko hit a beautiful flush Spanish fly off the ring apron on Obey. And boom, they cut right through the middle of that glass pane between the two chairs. And Sicko gets the pinfall and advances to the next round. That point, I was like, okay, that was probably the best match of the show so far. Moving forward, semifinals number 2. I mean, it's not really semifinals, is it? Semifinals is supposed to be two matches, right? Let's not nitpick, Carl. Semifinals number 2, Exorcist Deathmatch. So this match had got a lot of tubes that are upside down as a cross, like, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Upside down crosses, exorcism, etc. Candles, lots of that kind of thing going on here. Bryant Woods, Blaine Evans. Good job by the ring crew guy that made sure that that cross did not fall and break. Early in the match, the ropes were bounced off, and one of the tubes that was resting in the corner nearly fell over and broke. Well done, ring crew bloke. Blaine lands on tubes and candles at one stage and had a candle melt onto his bald head. Chris Kloss called him hot-headed. Fuck me. That was great. And when he said that, I'm like, I'm sorry, Rob Black. I don't know how you can get rid of Chris Kloss. His voice and humor made XPW. It's like getting rid of Joey Styles from ECW. Sorry. And I hate saying that because Ron Nini's my friend. And I think he does a great job with XPW, but I'm sorry, Chris Kloss is the voice of that company, and that's it. Blaine is in charge for a solid portion of the match after this spot with a candle. Bryant fought back with some tube punishment with a tube cross, and then he got suplexed off the top rope onto tubes between chairs by Blaine. Bryant Woods hit a power slam on Blaine through tubes, which was a nice surprise way of winning because Blaine was just charging at him and he got scooped up into a power slam. And it was a neat little finish. So Bryant Woods goes through to the finals to meet Lil Sicko. Here comes like the saddest moment of the show for me. Chris Kloss was, I guess, filling time between matches. I felt sad hearing him promote Halloween in Hell 4 in Van Nuys, which is this weekend, which is like the big XPW event. It just felt a bit sad hearing him, like he's there. He's doing IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 13. It's being helped to be streamed by streamxpw.com. XPW clearly helping out the company here to put their show out there. And Chris is still, he's there, he's doing his job, he's promoting XPW Halloween and Hell 4, and he's not in the company anymore. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Nobody loves and nobody loved XPW more than Chris Kloss. There is nobody that is more passionate about that company and its history than Chris Kloss. I interviewed him on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. You could feel that passion that he had. You can hear it when he talks on commentary. He references all the things that have happened in the past when he was commentating for the new XPW. He remembers everything. He cares on that level. I just wanted to say that. I don't know what the relationship is now. I know Ron and Larry Legend and Kyle Wilde, I guess they all kind of jump around doing commentary over there for XPW, but at the end of the day, still, there's only one voice for the company. I don't know what happened between them, but just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, let's get back to Carnage Cup 13. Semi-finals number 3. Fans bring the weapons. This was nuts, bro. There was one thing. Some fan brought this weapon that was like, it was a stick. And at the end of the stick were like all these knives pointing in all different directions. And they're all like cable tied together. Like, who's going to use that? So it's Chuey Martinez and Brian White. That is the most plain wrestling name ever, Brian White. You might as well just call yourself John Smith. You know what? I've always thought that there should be a wrestler who is plain as anything, no personality, no charisma, black tights, black boots, and his name's John Smith. That would pop me. Just no personality whatsoever. That's what makes him have a personality. Anyway, I don't know why I wrote this down. Tournament of Death 20 was better than GCW Tournament of Survival. XPW Karlifornia 2 was better than Tournament of Survival. Carnage Cup 13 is better than Tournament of Survival. Thank you. Sorry, GCW. I hated Tournament of Survival this year. I actually watched the whole thing and decided, you know what? I can't review this. I can't do a review of this and put it on the channel. I'm just going to be negative the whole time because I hated it that much. Anyway, early on, there was a bit of ha-ha between Chuey and Bryant. They'll get the crowd to go whoop whoop, and at one stage, I don't know what it was, but Chuey, he got them to say whoop whoop, or Bryant did. I don't know, either way. And Chuey looked to the crowd and said, "That's a good whoop whoop." That was just, to me, that tickled me. Very funny stuff. The match begins. Chuey wears him out with a bat of cans that are cut in half. This monstrosity of a wrestling show. I love it. Pizza tray with tacks on them. Jesus Christ, bro. So what did Chuey do? I think he put the pizza tray with the tacks on Brian's head and he just hit it. And Brian was screaming, and I was like, that sounds real. I don't know if he's selling there. And then he got the pizza tray stuck in his back. Brian White was eating shit and enjoying it right here. Getting the shit beaten out of him. Chuey was in charge. I'm going to put it out there. I want to interview Chuey for the podcast. Chuey tube scoop slams Brian, who continues to scream. I don't have many notes on this one. There was a real fucked up moment here where Chuey poured what was apparently rubbing alcohol on him. And I don't know what Chuey hit him with. He hit him with something. And then he gets the pin. And it appeared that Chuey was not aware that that was the finish because he kind of got up thinking that Brian was going to kick out, but Brian stayed down. And then Brian got up straight away as soon as the pinfall was over. Clearly, that rubbing alcohol was a big mistake. He's in a world of hurt. He goes over, he gets tended to. Everyone's there to make sure he's okay. And Chuey Martinez moves forward to the finals. I hope you're okay, Brian. You looked a little worse for wear, bro. Semi-finals number 4, a 6 corners of death match. Sick Boy taking on Necro Butcher. Want to give props to IWA Deep South here. Every match had a specific stipulation, which is what a deathmatch tournament is supposed to be like. I'm seeing lately that some of the other tournaments are getting a little bit lazy with this, and they're just having death matches. Deep South is still specifying each match being its own thing, something different. You're seeing something different. It's cool. Congrats. I thought, yeah, Necro's going to the finals here, I'm sure. And I have to be honest, I thought that this was better than CZW Tournament of Death 20, which was just a few weeks ago. Nothing against CZW, but there were more people in this tournament. It was a little crazier. It was a little bit more, what's the word, unpredictable in nature. It was just, yeah, I enjoyed this, really. I really did. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are automatically going to say that this was a shit show, because you know what people are like. They make their judgment on something before even watching it or giving it a chance. This was a good show, okay? Was the wrestling perfect? No, it's not supposed to be. It's a fucking deathmatch tournament. It's supposed to be a mess. It's supposed to be a nightmare. People are supposed to make mistakes and fuck things up. That's what would happen if it were real. So we got lemons and salt. We got Christmas balls. We got toothpicks. I was a little disappointed that no one took a scoop slam on those Christmas balls. I wanted to see them shatter everywhere. Another pop for Larry Legend saying, I think Chris Kloss gave him a beer. And Larry Legend said, nothing wrong with a warm beer right before we drive home. And then I wrote, you know what? I'm going next year. I'm going to the show next year. I don't care. I will do whatever it takes to get myself to Tennessee to see a little bit of IWA Deep South. There's a massive tubes to Necro's back. They're brawling, right? This is fuck, man. This is funny shit, dude. I'm laughing so much at this because the night it's becoming nightfall very soon, and I'm sure they expected to finish the show whilst the sun was out, but they had that big intermission with whatever the problem was. I think it was something to do with the ring canvas or something of that nature. But I don't know what it was. Kevin Brannon, the owner of the company, is following he's following the wrestlers around as they roll through the crowd, and he's holding a lantern. I don't know why, Kevin. That made me laugh so much. I don't know why. You know what it was? It's because it was a lantern. That's why I was laughing. He's holding the lantern, trying to keep, of course, he's trying to keep some sort of light on the wrestlers so, you know, we can actually see them as it's being filmed. We do get some floodlights. There are people holding floodlights up in the air, so that they were well equipped with this stuff. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult when you're out there in the middle of nowhere to have big time lighting. It's impossible. You know, on their budget, I'm sure they can't get like a massive floodlight, like, you know, but at least they were prepared, right? Just in case, which is good. Because imagine that they didn't, they're like, imagine like, no, you know what? This show will finish during the day. Forget about it. No, they pre-planned. They made sure that they were ready if it happened. One stage, it looked like Necro Butcher tried to scoop slam a fan, and the fan was like, what are you doing? And sometimes I think to myself, does Necro just grab whatever he wants and do whatever he wants to? Like, he's grabbing people's chairs and eskies and throwing them, and I'm like, bro, if you go near my fucking esky, no fucking chance you're grabbing my esky and throwing it at anyone. I will dive on my esky and I will hold onto it for grim death. No chance. If that was my esky, that would have really pissed me off, because eskies are not cheap. You know what? Chris and Larry were having great fun together on this show. Another thing that made me laugh that Chris Kloss said, he's setting up a board of something. Like, he didn't even know what it was. For whatever reason, that just tickled me again. He's setting up a board of something. Necro, no one wrestles like Necro Butcher. It's this clumsy Death Valley driver through tubes and shit, whatever else it was, in the corner of the ring. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm actually liking that this show is becoming Twilight. You know, it's going from day to night. It reminds me of the nostalgia of my time as a backyard wrestler. There will be days like our biggest show of the year was called Resolution. We would have a 15, 16 match show that day because it's the big show of the year. So it would start at 10 in the morning and we'd take our time between matches, you know, having a drink, eating some food, you know, having a laugh. And it wouldn't finish until like 10 or 11 at night. But I love the nostalgia, that nostalgic feeling of seeing it as it gets to that later afternoon and it slowly becomes nighttime and the lights turn on and then it becomes night. Getting to wrestle at that point of the day was always really cool. It was always really cool. It's daytime, you have your match, and as it progresses, it suddenly becomes nighttime. This is rare in pro wrestling because how often do you have matches take place, you know, in the daylight? WrestleMania, that's it. And Deep South Carnage Cup 13. Necro won with the Asiatic Spike and beat Sick Boy to advance. I don't remember Sick Boy doing anything in this. I don't know why. I was like, are they doing the finals now or is that coming tomorrow? And I'm like, oh shit, they are. And I'm like, look, if they can light everything okay and people's car batteries don't die from using their headlights, go for it. There's a little bit of an intermission, but again, luckily I can skip ahead because I was watching this after the fact. Here we go. We're nearly an hour into this review. I can't believe this has gone this long, but I've had so much to say. It's the finals of Carnage Cup 13. 4-way elimination House of Glass death match. Actually, I'm just going to write something down so I don't forget it. Okay. It's Chuey Martinez who won last year's, oh, not last year's, the last Carnage Cup 12. Necro Butcher, who won Carnage Cup 2 in 2006. Little Sicko and Bryant Woods, who both have never won the Carnage Cup. Before this match begins, I wrote down, as I said earlier, I was picking Bryant Woods as the winner because he's never won it. He's been close to winning it, and nobody has ever won it twice, and I have a feeling that this is just the way Kevin wants to do it. If someone ever does get to win it twice, it will be like, because they're being bestowed this, hey, we've never had anyone win this thing twice, so I'm sure it's being saved for something like that. But at the same time, I think it's a good thing that he didn't have somebody win this thing a second time, and then it was for someone else, because this helps kind of boost their career. No matter how people feel about IWA Deep South, I don't give a shit. This is still a notch on someone's career, on their belt. You know, Matt Tremont, very proud that he won Carnage Cup. Like he is, he won the Masters of Pain, and he's won the IWA Mid-South King of the Deathmatch. Anywho, you could hear the crickets and the frogs in the background. And that's, look, it happens here in Australia too. The crickets are loud as shit. It starts off ferociously once Butch, as soon as Butch got in the ring, hell broke loose. Hell broke loose. It appeared that the crowd were behind Little Sicko, who might have just had a bit of support there with him. Okay. Larry Legend, again, with a massive pop for me. I don't think there's any way that these three men with that... No, I'm going to say it again, that tripping over my words. Okay, he's talking about Little Sicko. I don't think there's any way that these three men would let that little twink come out on top. Brilliant, dude. Little twink. And then Chris Kloss mentions big things and come in small packages. These two with the double entendres all show. It was really funny. This was a mess of glass. And you know what? The lighting and the close camera shots from like right at ringside, it almost kind of made this look like a movie. The way it was being shot, it was totally unintended, but it just worked out that way. I really liked it. Bryant Woods hit a Uranagi off the ring apron through tubes on Chuey. Chuey got eliminated. And Chris and Larry just killed me with their screaming. Just screaming on that bump. Bryant Woods eliminates Necro Butcher soon after this with a lariat, and it comes down to the final two here. We're going to get somebody winning this for the first time. It's Little Sicko, it's Bryant Woods. Sicko starts smashing tubes on his head. He's trying to intimidate Bryant Woods as they get to the final two. Excuse me. Then Sicko ran into a massive lariat as they were having this showdown. Bryant was just dominating Sicko. He leaves him laying. It appeared to be over. I don't know if Sicko didn't just he forgot to kick out. I don't know. But Bryant was adamant that this match continues. We let's ignore it, you know. He showers Sicko in glass. They brawl. They head to the top of the U-Haul truck, climbing a ladder. I would have done something a little different. The way that you get someone on top of a truck like that, you can't really grab someone and like push them and push them, make them go up the ladder, because why would that happen? Just for psychology's sake, what I would have done was, if I was Bryant, I would have made sure that I had that stick with the knives on it. And if I was Little Sicko, I'd be like, okay, look, I'm a sicko, but I don't want none of that. And I'd climb the ladder to get away from him, right? Bryant climbs the ladder with the knives. As he gets to the top, Little Sicko stomps on his hand and the knives fall off the truck. There we go. We've got to the top of the truck, and it made sense in doing so. But that's me nitpicking. I've been very kind on this show, so I have to nitpick something. And I'm like, here we go. It's going to end with a sick bump. Of course, we get, you know, a kind of a Michinoku style driver off the U-Haul truck by Bryant Woods on Little Sicko through the tubes and tables and chairs and whatever the fuck else was on there. They're both down and out. Sicko looked like he was in a lot of pain there. Bryant crawls over, pins Sicko, who is clearly dead. Bryant Woods wins Carnage Cup 13. And in doing so, he is also crowned the new IWA Deep South Heavyweight Champion, which is so cool because I talked to Kevin about it on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel when I first interviewed Kevin Brannon. And I asked him about the Deep South Heavyweight Championship as it had been vacant for quite some time. And he said he was planning on bringing it back into the fray. Now we see it. There we go. And there we have it, everyone. Holy shit. Carnage Cup 13. On its merits, you know, going into this, what you're going to get. You're going to get Carnage. It's the Carnage Cup. You know, if you look at this expecting some sort of fucking display of technical wrestling and brilliance, high flying of the highest magnitude, and then you shit on it, oh, it's just trash wrestling. If you say stuff like that, go fuck yourself, bro. Like, this is what the Carnage Cup is supposed to be. I'm giving it, oh, geez, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Yep. Look. Me giving something a 9 out of 10 is very rare. Me giving something a 10 out of 10 is like WrestleMania 17, okay? 8.5 is pretty fucking good, bro. Like, it's very rare that I give anything a rating that high. Very rare. So, wow, what a show. I really enjoyed it. For all the faults that there was something that entertained me. There was something that popped me. There was something that made me laugh. There was something that made me cringe. This is what I'm looking for when I'm looking at a deathmatch tournament. I want to be kind of on the edge of my seat thinking, God, is someone going to die? It's a sick mindset, isn't it, as a fan? One thing I did want to mention before we go here, I was surprised that John Rare, who was Deep South legend, he's been, you know, put up on a pedestal by the company for so long, you know, with his sore death matches with Spider Boudreaux over the years and all that. He's been, you know, a focal point of the company. I was really surprised that he seemed a little bit like an afterthought on this show. And I don't mean like that was intended that way, but he was in the first match. He got eliminated. I thought he was going to at least go through to the next round. I don't know, because I thought there might be a bit more of a a big deal made about the fact that this is probably his last outing. But then again, maybe it's not. Maybe that's why I'm saying this, because I think that I think one thing, but in fact, it's actually not the case, and John's going to stick around. So there we have it, everyone. 8.5 out of 10. IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 13. I really enjoyed it. And I'm hopeful that this coming week I'll get to interview Mr. Kevin Brannan, the big kahuna, the big cheese of IWA Deep South, and we can do a blow-by-blow account from his day there on October 21st. And I'm hopeful that I'm going to get Chris Kloss and also Larry Legend back on the show. And whilst I'm here, if anyone out there is watching from the company, I would like to interview Necro Butcher. I would like to interview Little Sicko, Bryant Woods. I would like to interview Chuey Martinez, Blaine Evans. Sure. Yeah, look, that'll do for now because this is nearly an hour long. So thank you very much for joining me here on the WZWA network for my IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 13 review. Please check out our Patreon, the WZWA Slam Society. Please check out us on ProWrestlingTees.com. We've got some great shirts there, great t-shirt designs. Once again, Karlifornia, WZWA network, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.